Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Cardellichio. Welcome to Momentum Monday. We need some momentum today, Jen. I'm here with my co-host, my partner in crime, leadership expert, an attorney, and author of the book, Move the Ball, Jen Garrett. Jen, how are you today?
Hey, good morning, Dan. I'm doing great. I'm ready to get some momentum going on this wonderful November Monday morning.
On this wonderful November 23rd, Monday morning, been working really hard, Jen. I think I'm going to go to sleep after this. No. I'm going to move the ball. I'm going to push forward. How are you today?
I'm good. We were chatting a little bit ago. I'm a little tired. Didn't get as much sleep as I wanted, but I'm doing great. I'm ready to go, and it's Monday. So here
It's
we go.
Monday. We got a short week this week because we do have Thanksgiving. Want to wish everybody Thanksgiving for those who celebrate. So it's a great American holiday. Jen,
Yes.
what do you want to talk about today? It's the end of the year. It's the end of the year. We have about 5 weeks left. Tell me, how are you going to move the ball? Give me a goal that you want to accomplish before the end of the year.
That's a great question. So for me, there's a couple of things. One is I'm very big on, and I posted about this the other day, that it's really important during this time that we're prioritizing ourselves and our health, whether that's mental health, physical health, spiritual health. And so for me, that's a big
Mhm.
focus for me this year, specifically um, physical health. So I definitely want to make it. This is a time where people like, especially because people are home a lot, you hear the
Right.
jokes about the COVID-15, right? And so for
Right.
me, I want to make sure that as we're going into the holidays, where there's a lot of temptation to eat lots of goodies, that I'm still focused on eating healthy and
Right.
taking care of myself, not only from a physical standpoint, but that is a big part. And then also, mental health is very important, especially now with everybody being at home so much. I don't know about New Jersey, but I'm out here in California at the moment where we're having more and more lockdowns. They're
Mhm.
threatening to shut down outdoor
Mhm.
seating for restaurants as well. And so that means that people are going to be losing their jobs, unfortunately. And also people are not going to be they're losing another layer of socialization, which I think it's
Right.
important that we do what we have to try to curb the spread, but it's tough for people. And so I think even more so now, people taking care of their mental health is going to be critical.
And I think this is an important topic because you can move the ball mentally and physically. And you have five
Yes.
weeks left. And New Jersey is living in a parallel universe right now with California. We have the same talk that's going on where there may be closing. So, how am I going to move the ball during this holiday season? For those, I want to make sure the senior citizens in the area are going to be taken care of. That's how I want to move the ball in addition to taking care of myself and to take care of the mental aspect of everything that's going on, because they need our help and they need to make sure that people are out there, people care, make sure that they're okay. So those that are in your area that are homebound, that need your help, move the ball, get over to them and see how they are doing. Drop off a plate of turkey at their doorstep, because they have to eat too on Thanksgiving. So I
Yes.
think that's very important. Is there any other goals that you want for the end of the year? Any specific business goals now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just getting positioned for 2021. So for me, I definitely am proud of what I've accomplished in 2020. That doesn't mean I'm stopping, but I'm really just focusing on, okay, let's put the plans in place and get the playbook ready to have
Right.
an even more amazing 2021. So that's really what my December is focused on, is putting together my strategic plan for next year. I mean, I've got work that I'm doing for clients and more that tactical stuff, but I really want to, and I know we've talked before about how I've had to pivot in my entrepreneurial journey because of COVID. So I'm looking to kind of pivot back to the original space, working more with businesses and
Uh-huh.
corporations. So really that's my game plan, is to put together a good playbook and get the things in place that I need to really have a strong Q1 2021.
You know what? I love that. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I am working on the business. Of course, I'm working in the business because I have to be there, but I am working on the business. I'm getting together my playbook. I got my X's and O's ready to go, and I am, moving the ball with that. So, the partners and I, we're sitting down, and we have been sitting down, strategizing on how we're going to move the ball and what it is our goals for the rest of the year. We want to continue to maintain our momentum and then go into 2021, okay, hitting the ground running, ready to go. We're doing that now. We just want to make sure that we keep that up because,
Yes,
Jen, as an entrepreneur, you got to work on your business and in your business, right?
absolutely. Yes, that is very true. I guess the other thing I would say too is my other goal getting ready for next year is with my podcast, the Move the Ball podcast. I took a break for fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been doing a lot of thinking over the last 2 weeks about guests that I'm going to have on my show, starting reaching out to people in my network that I think would be great fits, that have great stories and experiences. So that's another thing that I'm really putting in place and starting to schedule interviews and that kind of thing. Since my shows are pre-recorded, that I need to do those interviews in advance. So that way we're ready to release the day after the Super Bowl.
Right. I have Destination Health, which is a pre-recorded podcast, and then you and I have Momentum Monday, where we're live right now, and we have Andrea
Yes.
listening to us as always. So that's great. So,
Hi, Andrea.
so what does this mean to you? The first change I made was to remove or dismiss several players who either didn't want to be part of the program or acted in an inappropriate manner. That was said by Charlie Weiss. Who is Charlie Weiss? That's the first question. I know who he is. Tell our viewers, who is Charlie Weiss?
Charlie Weiss is a coach.
Oh, that's right. And who did he coach?
Oh, thanks. There's a reason why. Oh, my goodness. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well,
Thanks
since you're a Bears fan and I'm a Giants fan, I'll help you in this, Jen.
Thank you.
He was a Giants coach. He was underneath Bill Parcells, and he was a Northern New Jersey guy and all that. Anyway.
But he wasn't a Giants coach when I quoted him, though. There was an article that I pulled from.
Yes, so. he wasn't a Giants coach. He was coaching college football at that time. So what does that mean to you? Because we were talking about last week, drop the dead weight. It's a little harsh, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do that. So what does that quote mean?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to really make the tough calls and decide who you want to have in your inner circle and playing with you and who needs to just be cut. And we see that all the time in sports. And it's not just about having people that are talented or smart, right, and can do the work. It's also, do they have the right energy that you need to propel forward? We've seen teams that have made cuts of football players, basketball, whatever sport, because they're just not the right cultural fit, but they're talented, right? But they're a distraction to the team. For example, they don't complement the team well in terms of their personality. Again, not talking about talent or skill, right? And the same thing in our lives personally, as well as in the business context. You have to have that courage to say, you know what, this person isn't the right fit for me right now. So I'm going to just, remove them from my team because they're not who I need to keep moving the ball forward.
Yes, and that's extremely important. We were talking about that. I wanted to touch upon that this week again because it is something that is extremely important, because we all have a tendency to keep those people around us. And if they're really toxic, right? And you're trying to be this entrepreneur, you're trying to move the ball, and they're very toxic. It's really, really not good, because it could actually bring you down in what you want to do. And I think that's important, because at the end of the chapter, you talk about the coach's chalkboard. Cannot control other people's viewpoints, but you can control how you respond to them. Extremely important. Discuss that a little bit, Jen. I think that's very important.
Yeah, something that I talk about often when I'm doing trainings or motivational talks is controlling the controllables. And so we can't control what other people think, say, or do, but we can control what we choose to do as a result of that. And that's not just people, by the way. Same thing with events in our lives like this pandemic, right? We can't control that there's a lockdown, but we can control what we do. So same principle applies when it comes to people. You can't
Right.
control what other people are going to say, if they're going to be negative or not, but you have the choice of figuring out, okay, I hear you, person, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z because of what you have said, right? And
Mhm.
that might be, I'm going to remove you from my life because I'm tired of this, negative energy that you're putting out, and it's just not
Right.
productive for me to continue on in that relationship.
You know what? I think that's great. Negative energy, because when you are playing sports, if you have negative energy or if you have somebody that's bringing that negative energy, it literally brings down the entire team. Very difficult to move the ball. My son, who
Yes.
is 12, has learned that because he's been on hockey teams where parents, as well as the players, even the parents, are
Mhm.
very toxic. And,
Yes.
it makes it very difficult to move the ball. But that's a great life lesson, whether
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur or you're a 12-year-old looking to play a sport, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a lesson that my daughter, who is now 18, she learned in high school as well, not only from sports, but also she was in an entrepreneurship program. And so you learn about there are people that you want to keep on your team, and there are people that you just need to say, you know what, this isn't working, and we need to part ways.
Sometimes that can be painful for all of our listeners, but
Yes.
wanting to move the ball, it's okay. And if somebody's toxic in your life, sometimes you have to drop the dead weight. I love that topic. Drop the dead weight. You want to keep the players who are with you and drop the ones who are not. So those are the three take homes from the chapter, Drop the Dead Weight. I love this chapter, Jen, just to let you know.
Thank you. And I think it's important. The reason I include it is because it's oftentimes people don't want to have those conversations that are going to be difficult, right? And so it's easier to keep somebody around because you don't want to have that conversation. But what
Right.
happens is then you're having these interactions with this individual and it's affecting you in an unproductive manner. So it's really important to just say, you know what, no more. And even though this is not going to be a fun conversation, this is important for me and my mental health as well, because oftentimes that's what it's affecting, right? Is
Right.
when you're having these conversations. So I'm going to make myself a priority, and I'm going
Right.
to have this conversation, even though it's not going to be a fun one. I recognize that it's something that I need to do for me.
Absolutely. So,
Yep.
Jen, we're almost done. A few more minutes. Tell us about the project that you have going on in November.
Yeah. So
Fundraiser.
we're Yes, so we have a project called We Care, which stands for Women Empowered Care. And the focus of the project is to try to bring some extra hope and positivity to women's shelters in 8 cities across the US.
Hmm.
Those 8 cities are Chicago, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Houston, Dallas, Minneapolis, LA and Orange County, and then San Francisco and the Greater Bay Area. And so what we're doing is we're trying to raise $5,000 to in each of those regions, and then we will then purchase wish list items for each of these shelters. And the shelters are focused on serving women and children who are victims of domestic violence, which I think is such an important cause, because as we are in this pandemic, we know that there are more cases of domestic violence, and my guess is that it's going to continue to increase, unfortunately, because we're in this lockdown situation, or that we're having all these restrictions.
Yeah, this lockdown situation has had a lot of other deleterious effects, far, far
Yes.
reaching. So, what's that website again?
Yeah. So if you go to powerandimpact.com, then you can see the donation links for all 8 cities. So we have one set up for each city, and you can go ahead and click the link. It'll tell you what shelter or shelters we're supporting in that area, and we would love to have you donate if you're in a position to do so.
Excellent. Jen, tell me, what else do you want to say? One more clinical pearl as I say to my students when I'm trying to get them to understand something, one more clinical pearl: move the ball this week for Thanksgiving.
Well, I was going to say a clinical pearl, not tied to Thanksgiving specifically, but I'll come back to Thanksgiving, is consistency. So whatever it is that you are
Yes.
looking to do, you got to be consistent. Whether if you're a content creator like we are with this show, we're consistent every Monday. We're here,
Mhm.
right? And whatever it is you're looking to do, whatever goals you have, you got to act in a consistent manner. So that's my big word for the week, is to challenge people to be consistent in whatever it is they need to do so that they can move the ball. And then the second thing I would just say, tied to Thanksgiving, is to remember what Thanksgiving is about too, right?
Right.
And so it's giving thanks. So don't forget to really do some reflection and think about all the things that you were lucky for. Express gratitude. Some people write a daily gratitude journal. I think that's so important because it helps you get your mindset in the right state of mind to have a great day. So remember
Right.
remember to give thanks. And also, like you mentioned earlier, Dan, this isn't just a time about you, right? So make sure you're taking care of people around you. And if you're able to get out there and check on your neighbors and
Right.
even people just virtually as well. This is a hard time for a lot of people, and it's
Right.
getting harder because of what we're going through with the pandemic. So just make sure you're checking in on the people that you care about and make sure they're okay.
Right. A Zoom phone call, a quick phone call can make all the difference in the world. We are going to have a virtual Thanksgiving. We'll have people here appropriately, and we'll have virtual Thanksgiving. Take care of those that are loved ones and those in the community that need. Please go to powerandimpact.com. Very easy to go to and to make a donation. No donation is too small and can be very, very helpful. So please make sure you do that. Jen, I always look forward to Mondays at 9:30 because I love to motivate, educate, and inspire. And each week when you talk, I get motivated, educated, and inspired. So I want to say thank you for that also.
Well, thank you. I love doing these sessions, and hopefully these little nuggets that we give to people really do help to get them some momentum going on a Monday morning.
Yeah, we're going to keep going through December, and we're going to keep doing it in January. We want you guys to keep moving forward. Consistency. I have my planner. I have another planner. I have my Google. After I get off the phone, I got to be consistent, right, Jen? I got 100 things to do in the next hour, but that's okay. It's all good. I look forward to it because as an entrepreneur, that's what you're supposed to do. Jen, thank you very much again for being on. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well, Dan, and to everyone listening or
And to
watching, I should say.
all of our listeners and our watchers, have a great Thanksgiving. Move the ball. Move the ball. Jen Garrett, please go to Amazon and purchase. Thank you very much for everybody listening. Jen, have a great week. Move the ball.
Thank you. You too, Dan.